Let's go, family. Happy Wednesday. You already know it's your boy Crazy Faith the God in the building, getting ready to drop some quick value for you guys today. Let's dive deep into it. Today's topic is actually going to be mindsets, right? Mindsets, right? What is your mindset, right? What is your mindset? What are you currently focused on a day-to-day basis, right? Is it thoughts from the past? Is it thoughts for the future? Or is it just thoughts in the present moment, right? So these are ways where our mind is working, right? We have a couple ways where our mind is working, right? These are the mindsets. Our mindsets, we could have a mindset that's in the past. We could have a mindset that's in the present, or we could have a mindset that's in the future, right? And I asked you guys this, right? Because sometimes we're not aware of where our mindset is actually taking us, right? And if your mindset is not in the present moment, moving towards the future, then that means you're stuck in the past, right? So it's three ways where we could direct our minds, either in the past, present, or future, right? And we got to be mindful of where we're placing our attention, because where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? And we don't want our energy to be flowing in the past, right? Because there's no nutritional value in the past, right? And pretty much the enemy lives in the past. The enemy, the devil, wants you to be looking back and stay stuck there, right? But God wants us to be present, moving forward towards the future, right? So what mindsets do you have? What are you currently thinking about? What are your dominating thoughts, right? And I ask you guys to ask yourself this, right? What are your dominating thoughts? What are you continuously focused on? And who's around you that's helping you push towards the present moment, or even push towards the future if you're actually stuck in the past, right? We got to ask ourselves these questions, right? Because I was once that person that was stuck in the past. I was once that person that my mind kept drifting, right? How many of you guys are drifting right now? Because I was once that person and I hated it, right? Not hated it, I disliked it, right? Because the moment where we take our attention off of the present moment, we are pretty much stuck in the past, right? We're pretty much stuck in the past once we take our attention off the present moment, right? We are actually stuck in the past. So we got to always be mindful of staying present, because there's no future in the past. There's no future in the past, right? So we got to be super mindful that this is the present moment, right? And then we got to move forward, right? We always want to be moving forward, right? And not backwards, right? We always want to be moving forward, no matter what happens. No matter what happens in your life, it's time to let that go, right? And so that way we could push forward, right? You already heard it over the past. You already felt the pain, what it feels like to live in the past, right? You felt the depression of the past. So now you felt the trauma of the past. So now it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go, right? And just keep pushing forward now, right? You let that go. Do whatever you have to do to let it go. If you have to journal, right? If you have to talk to someone that you trust, right? In order to relieve that and let it go, right? But continuously strive to let go of any trauma, any past afflictions, anything that's just keeping you stuck in the past. I encourage you guys to let that go. Because once you begin to let that go, now God is able to do more within you. God is able to show you what's next. God is able to work on you to transform you into the person that you're becoming. But he can't do that if you're doing this. If you're looking back, if you're in the past, he can't work, right? And if you notice, it's easier for me to do the video looking forward in the present moment, walking. But when I'm in the past, it's hard to do the video. It doesn't even feel like a connection is there. You feel the disconnection, you feel the misalignment, you feel that. But when I'm focused forward, now I'm with God, moving forward and speaking about the present moment and actually having my attention directed forward, right? But the moment we look back, there's no nutritional value there, right? We get stuck. It's negative feelings, right? It's all of these feelings, negative feelings, trauma, all of these bad situations and circumstances that already happened, that we already lived through, that you're just replaying back. So it's time to just let that go, right? It's time to let that go. I was once that person. I was once there, and I free you guys, and I encourage you to let go, right? You're already free. Now it's up to you to just let the thoughts go, to let the emotions go, to let any type of connection from the past go, even if it means cutting off people, right? Because if you don't cut off those people, they will keep you in the past. You have to be mindful of the people that's bringing you back to your past, and you got to let them go in order to see what God has for you, right? I know you don't want to live this kind of life. I know you don't want to live mediocre, mundane, stuck in the past life and just a depressed life. I know you guys don't want to do that. I know you guys don't want to keep feeling the negative pains from the past, right? So it's time to pivot, switch, and just be more mindful of what your mind is doing, so that way you can stay in the present moment. We got to be more mindful with our mind is doing, so that way we can stay in the present moment, right? The biggest thing about the mind is awareness. If we're not aware of what the mind is doing, then we don't have any control of the mind. If we don't have control of the mind, if we're not aware of the mind, then we have no control of what the mind is doing. Let me say that one more time, right? If we are not aware of our minds, then that means we are not in control of it, right? But when you're aware of what your mind is doing, now you can pivot when your mind goes backwards, right? My mind tries to take me back, and I gotta pivot because I'm already aware of my mind. I'm already aware that it's a negative feeling and its consequences from looking back. There's no nutritional value. So I'm aware of my mind, and then I pivot to the present moment, and then I think about what I want, right? I think about what I want out of life. I think about who's on the throne, right? And that's God, right? That's how I pivot, right? Because life is going to try to pull us in different directions, right? Life is going to try to pull us in different directions, and we got to stay strong and powerful of our minds, because if we're not strong and powerful of our minds, then our minds tend to control us, right? And when your mind controls you, you live a different kind of life. You do things that you're not even wanting to, that you don't even want to do, right? Because you're letting your mind control you. But when you start controlling your mind, you start to control your life. You start to take control of your life. But the moment you don't have control, you live a miserable, depressed, sad life, right? You live a mundane life. But the moment you take control, you happy, you joyful, you got peace, right? And you're in control. And that's a good way to live life. Because if you're not in control, then who is, right? If you're not in control of your mind, right, then who is in control? Who's driving the car, right? Who's driving your car, right? Who's directing your mind, right? Who's in control of that? You are in control of your mind, right? I tell the enemy every day, this is my mind, not yours, right? I tell the devil every day, this is my mind. This ain't your mind, right? And that's what I encourage you guys to do too, right? When you start to see he's starting to play with your mind, that's all you got to say. This is my mind, not yours. God created me, right? I was created in God's image, right? And that's how you take control of your mind. That's how you can take control of your mind, right? That's how you take control. You always want to be in control of your mind. Remember, you are in control of your mind. You are in control of the internal world. But we do not have control over the external world and what people do. But we have control over the internal and what we do. That's the strength and power and control that you have within you, right? That you got to tap into, right? It's there. You just got to do some work and actually see that you have the control from within, right? You guys have the control within, right? You have the mindset to push forward. You have the mindset to keep pushing forward with God. You do not have to look back. And you don't have to entertain conversations that take you back there. If those people are around you and they start talking, stuff from the past, you could politely just say, I don't talk about the past anymore, right? And I only live in the present. I only talk about the present moment and the future. Respectfully and humbly, set that boundary, right? You got to set that boundary, because if you don't set that boundary, what happens? You engage in the conversation and you go back with them, right? Out of all of this hard work, you're trying to move forward, you get around these people. They will come. Once you start trying to do good, you're going to have those people that come in your lives and try to pull you back. But this is the point where you want to pivot and just stop the conversation right there. No matter if you maybe ruffle some feathers, you will have to ruffle some feathers, right? And people are going to not like you for that. And that's okay, because you got to protect you. You got to set that boundary, because if you don't set that boundary, you will get hurt and go back to the past, which has no nutritional value. So you might as well set the boundary in order to push forward and to see what God has for you, rather than try to please someone with a conversation that's going to take you back and that's not going to add no nutritional value, right? That's the real truth, right? So let's move on and, be aware of what we talk about. We have to be invested into meaningful conversations, right? If it's not meaningful, this is my boundary. If it's not a meaningful conversation, it was nice talking to you, but my energy is not invested into meaningless conversations, right? Let's talk about a topic that's going to actually add value, positivity, and to push us more towards God, towards the future. Something positive that's going to, feed our spirits, but nothing from the past, right? We don't have time to entertain that. Our time and energy is super valuable, and we cannot waste it on negativity and things from the past that has no nutritional value. And that's the standard. That's the boundary that you need to keep. That's the boundary. That's the standard that you have to keep. Because if you don't keep that standard, if you don't keep that boundary, what happens? You go backwards. You feel that negative vibration. You feel the depression. You feel the drama. No, God didn't create us to feel those emotions. I mean, it happened, and now we got to keep moving. But He doesn't want us to keep going back to that. No, right? He wants us to transform, keep pushing forward, despite what happened. Put everything under your feet and make it well with your soul, despite what happened in the past. That's what He wants you to do. He wants to let the past be a lesson, right? You learn from it. Now you move forward. You don't look back. There's nothing back there. That's what He wants, right? So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Right? If you don't start being aware of your mindset, right? If you don't start being aware of your thoughts and where they're taking you, right? You would always be stuck in life. You will always let your mind control you, and that's what you don't want. But if you want to take control of your mind, you have to stay present in the present moment and be aware of what your mind is doing. You got to stay present. You got to be aware of what your mind is doing. It takes time. It takes time to understand what your mind is doing. It takes the mental focus in order and to understand and see what your mind is doing, right? It takes that mental focus, awareness. It takes time to, all right, let me just be aware of my mind for today. One day at a time. Let me just see what my mind is doing. You can start like that. That's what I did. I started to like cut off the self-talk and just be more aware of what my mind is doing. Because I know if I can catch what's going on in my mind, I can fix all my problems that lies within me. But if I'm not aware of my mind and I just let it run on autopilot, then I'm not in control, right? Things will start to try to control me. So that's a good way to create a better mindset, by staying present and watching your thoughts, right? Instead of letting your thoughts control you, right? So I want to pray over you guys right now. God, I ask them that you could give them the awareness to be more aware of their minds and what they're thinking about, and help them to not digress back to the past, because that has no nutritional value. But let's pivot our minds to the present moment and replace every negative thought with something positive, and just let us stay in the fight and keep enduring and keep fighting and pushing forward, because we know with the strength and power of you, we can get through everything. We can get over the past. We can get over what's trying to stop us, only with your strength and your power. In Jesus' name, let's go. It's your boy Crazy Faith of God on the way out. Hope you guys have a blessed and amazing Tuesday. Let's go. I'm gone. Let's get it. Let's go.